In today's industry recap, Alaska Airlines has confirmed it'll fly to Europe. There's bad news for Starlux, and Spirit Airlines may be cancelling orders. Want to begin there, with the US-based company emerging as yet another airline weighing its options regarding the future of fleet amid ongoing political tensions. Flagged by Flight Global but visible through a 10Q quarterly report filing published on May the 30th, the US-based carrier discussed the impact that tariffs were to have on the future of its fleet and things that were up for consideration. Spirit Airlines is an all Airbus operator, and as it continues to move forward with a stronger focus on operating sustainably and renewing that fleet with the latest generation of aircraft that are deemed suitable, all things have to be taken into consideration. However, in its latest filing, the airline confirms that the tariffs are subject to several factors that have the potential to necessitate responses to mitigate the overall risk that would be placed on its business. Costs are one thing that may be forced to increase, and Spirit Airlines wants the imported new Airbus aircraft and the necessary parts to service the Airbus fleet, which could have an adverse effect on the business moving forward. For the US carrier, they cannot afford to be placed in another spiraling situation, for the lengths taken to rebuild the business across recent times have been colossal, and undoing that work is just absolutely not on the table. Another thing to mention is the US industry is highly competitive, and many analysts argue that the only way for some of your smaller, low-cost airlines to survive is through consolidation. However, with consolidation so frowned upon, there remains resistance from governing regulators to this approach that is not just moving forward but has also happened in the past. The rejection, for example, of Spirit Airlines' proposed merger into JetBlue was the straw that broke the camel's back for the low-cost unit, plunging it into financial hardship and restructuring. It cannot afford to deal with further financial implications while trying to maintain its fleet. Therefore, to address these concerns, Spirit Airlines has stated in its quarterly filing that it may not only seek to postpone the delivery of specific aircraft currently scheduled, but also cancel them altogether. The cancellation would be required only if the impact was, say, to extend to future aircraft purchases as well, with, say, the amounts significantly changing to find a more optimal balance. For such an action to be taken, Spirit Airlines confirms that considerations such as the size of fleet as well as the business and financial condition of the overall operation are to be thoroughly studied. Spirit Airlines' reliance on the A320neo family is hardly minimal. In fact, there are still almost 100 deliveries for this aircraft family expected to take place in the next 6 years alone. As a result, these planes will be crucial, not just to the renewal of the fleet, but also to expanding the operation, and if deliveries therefore cannot be facilitated, the impact on the company will be huge. Over to the next story, and some more negative news. Starlux is preparing for delays in the delivery of upcoming Airbus aircraft, which will impact its operations in the future. The Taiwanese-based carrier confirmed through its chief executive officer, Glenn Chair, with Bloomberg News that they're forecasting delays. They are an all Airbus operator, and therefore they rely solely on this plane maker to provide them aircraft that will fly across their business. While the reliance is spread across multiple aircraft families, if Airbus are encountering issues, there's nothing really it can do except sit and wait. And given the nature of the airline and its youthful nature, the carrier has certainly leveraged this to have one of the youngest fleets in Asia, benefiting its efficiency and also its expenses, certainly in comparison to competitors. However, alarm bells are now ringing as growth expectations are being reduced, similar to other global airlines, due to slower than expected delivery of new aircraft. Starlux states that while capacity is expected to grow year over year, it'll not increase at the initially scheduled percentage point. The company initially intended to achieve a 50% growth in capacity compared to 2024. However, it is more likely to reach, you're looking at around the 20 to 30% figure. The reduction is due to the decrease in expected deliveries, which are expected to occur this year, and while planes such as the A330neo and jets within the A350 family are being delivered, they find themselves short on 4 wide-body planes, which certainly for an airline like Starlux is going to make a big difference. Their network is not fully developed to a level that they may have envisaged. According to the airline's future route map, over the next few years, many new markets are expected to be launched. However, these are only possible with the addition of new planes, and if that can't be facilitated, you are going to see route launches pushed back and priorities lie elsewhere. While certainly Starlux is seeing its new aircraft delayed and finds itself short on Airbus aircraft, it would not be alone in feeling, say, a similar sense of frustration. Airbus has confirmed that it's already informing all airline customers that deliveries for the remainder of 2025 will be subject subject to multi-month delays. Therefore, delays throw curveballs to companies such as Starlux and many other on a global scale, with their planning certainly disrupting their planning. Failure to take planes on time means retirement for some companies can't occur, routes can't launch, and so much more, such as employee expansion and such. What remains worse is that Airbus doesn't see this problem easing in the next couple of years, which will force carriers to adjust their growth forecasting and not capture demand as quickly as intended. Over to the last story, and that sits with none other than Alaska Airlines, and a story that has been certainly prevalent throughout 2025, but has lacked that formal confirmation, has been their debut to Europe, and we finally have that. Alaska Airlines confirming it has selected Rome in Italy as the debut city. Flights are slated to commence in May of 2026. Celebrating the new global gateway of Seattle, Rome becomes the first international destination heading east and more importantly in Europe for the company. Described as a dream come true for the airline's CEO, this is a massive addition to the network, as guests have previously flown to Italy through other airlines, but now they can do it on Alaska Airlines. The 7879 will operate the flight, and you probably don't need me to tell you this, but it will be a Hawaiian Airlines aircraft. This route entirely possible thanks to the tie-up of Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines, the assets being combined, and Alaska Airlines leveraging what Hawaiian Airlines has to expand further. Departures on the service are scheduled for 4 times a week, with wheels up from Seattle on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Like I said at the beginning of this segment, the European launch has been a long time in the making, and follows on directly from a service expansion to Seoul Incheon being confirmed a few months ago. On several occasions, the airline's CEO stated that European destinations were high on the radar as the business sought to evolve, and probably the key from all of this, make Seattle a true global hub moving forward. Its new acquisition and takeover of Hawaiian is going to fundamentally give it the wide bodies to make this happen. While Alaska Airlines is launching the flights, remember that this main line doesn't have any aircraft capable itself to fly long haul. The 737 family is the largest aircraft at their own disposal. Overall, the addition of Hawaiian Airlines is part of a broader effort to have 12 international non-stop destinations from Seattle served with wide-body aircraft by 2030. Tokyo and Seoul formed the first 2, and now we have Rome following. Obviously, with time, Alaska Airlines will definitely want to extend further into Europe, with some of your major, cities on the west coast becoming a viable option. But that will be with time. The 787 is crucial to all of this taking place, and I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Take care. Do be safe. I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest industry recap.
And we'll fly.